All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Kuhnhenn Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Warren, Michigan, and this is their Creme Brule, otherwise known as their Imperial Crème Brûlée Java Stout. So this is a malt beverage with coffee. It comes in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed, time of review. And this can is just under 3 months old, and I picked it up at Halftime Beverage via halftimebeverage.com. So in the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that I grabbed. I picked up 31 different beers, and 7 of those were from Kuhnhenn, and this is one of the 7. In full disclosure, I've had this one before a couple different times. 2014 and 2015, I actually went to the brewery. The first time I had it on a draft at the brewery, and the second time I brought home an entire crowler, split it with my dad, and I love this beer. Back in 2014, gave it a 4.5 out of 5, and then in 2015, gave it a 4.75 out of 5. However, the last time I had it was almost 10 years ago, so who knows what we got going on here. They have a very small little write-up here. It just says, intense aromas of vanilla, caramel, and coffee. Serve at 38 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. So I usually put beers like this in my darker beer fridge. However, I grabbed out my regular beer fridge about 15 minutes before I did the review. Gonna listen to what they say, because I've had this one on draft at the brewery when it was ice cold, and then had it at home where it was probably in like the 50-55 realm. Didn't notice much of a difference, but I'll listen to them. Now on Untappd and their website, they do actually mention that this one is brewed with a chocolate, caramel, vanilla, and coffee, but it only says malt beverage with coffee. Don't know why the change, but whatever. Hopefully it's still delicious. I'm also wearing my Michigan Brewers Guild enthusiast member shirt. Why? Because why not? I got this back in 2014. I went to the Detroit Fall Beer Festival in 2014 and 15. And when you got the enthusiast membership, you got some money off. You got free pours at breweries and stuff. So, and I still wear it occasionally in these reviews, because, especially when I'm reviewing a Michigan beer. And I'll probably do that for most of the Kuhnhenn beer. Oh, it tastes real good still. A little bit of a cheat. Now it's foaming. I don't remember this fizzing away like it did. So it's in the hashtag proper glassware, but let's turn it around so you guys can get a better view. That looks absolutely fantastic to me. That looks, why is it not focusing on the beer? There you go. No, it's still not. There you go. Looks beautiful. About a finger of a straight up brown colored head. Very creamy looking, pitch black. Get out the contraband here. Yeah, nothing's getting through that. Looks fantastic. But then it's in the Kuhnhenn hashtag proper glassware. Let's get a little bit of a swirl here. Look at that. Look at that beer. Looks fantastic, or does it? I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I just don't like that my camera's flipping out. My face, you can't see my face. Is it focusing on this? I don't know. Does it matter? Probably not. You guys are just like, fucking Joe, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. You guys know this. Yeah, it smells awesome. It smells like you have like a vanilla, like espresso, or like a vanilla iced coffee. But if you got like, you know how you can have like the different, whether it's Dunkin', Starbucks, your local place, you can get shots of whatever. It's like you got like an iced coffee, and you're like, you know what? Throw in a shot of mocha, or throw in a shot of chocolate and make a mocha. But then how about we sneak in a vanilla one, maybe like a caramel one, and that's kind of what I'm smelling. It has everything. It has vanilla, it has caramel, it has chocolate, big boisterous like espresso vibes, roasted malt. It smells like it's going to be sweet, which I remember this one being kind of a decadent beer. It never was like so this, again, we're going back 2014, 2015. It wasn't like over the top like some of the pastry stouts nowadays, but it definitely leaned sweeter for like an Imperial Stout. And in the nose right now, it's definitely leaning sweeter, and I'm okay with that. It smells awesome. Like everything that should be in the nose is here, and that's all that matters. Cheers, everyone. Still quite tasty. Is it as good as I remember it off that first sip? No, it's not. My palate's in a completely different place than it was in 2014, 2015. The first beer that I reviewed from them, the Drippa, the Double Rice IPA, that held up. And my can was a bit older, at around 2 months old. Still delicious. This, probably because of the sheer amount of pastry stouts that have hit the market over the past 5 to 10 years, it's not as impressive as it once was to my palate, just because I've had bigger, bolder flavors, but it's still quite tasty. I really like the body on this one. It's like higher side of medium, lower side of full, 8.5%. It's nice. The mouthfeel is where it really wins me over. This is soft. This is like mild to moderate carbonation, maybe smack dab in the middle, but it's softer on the palate. It's like very soft. Then it's smooth, and then it's creamy. So the mouthfeel is right in the wheelhouse for what I want for something like this. I don't want it to be overly carbonated. It doesn't need to be effervescent. It doesn't need to be spritzy on the palate. Not a high carbonation. I love the mouthfeel. Body is really nice too. The taste is a little bit more subtle than I remember and not as complex. So forefront, lots of roasted malt, big roasted malt vibe. Transitions into like this beautiful, again, like espresso kind of coffee sensation. Then there's waves of chocolate, caramel, and vanilla. Little bit of like a dried fruit, like a dark dried fruit. But those secondary and tertiary kind of flavors don't hit me as much as the coffee does. Now, to be fair, it says malt beverage with coffee. It's an Imperial Crème Brûlée Java Stout. So the coffee, for the most part, is going to be at the forefront. It is, but I remember this one being a little bit more rich and decadent and kind of luscious in the taste. This is a little bit lacking in comparison to that, but again, still really nice. Just, I'm always going to compare it in my mind to the first couple times I had it. It doesn't lean crazy sweet. It has a beautiful dryness, a very mild bitterness. And while it is sweet, I think that coffee kind of, there's more of like a coffee bitterness throughout, like certainly in the front of the palate. Usually with me and beers, I get all the sweet malt goodness up front, and then in the finish, I get the dryness and the bitterness, which kind of balances it out for me. In this one, I get more of that like coffee, espresso kind of bitterness up front. And then the finish, it doesn't have much bitterness, but a big dryness. So it's not balanced, probably 60-40, maybe 65-35 sweetness to dryness and bitterness, but it's not cloying, not even approaching that, not over the top. It's just, it definitely leans sweet. So if you're not somebody who likes sweeter beers, probably wouldn't be for you. It's a tasty beer. It's still highly enjoyable. It's just not amazing and approaching world class like I used to think it was. Not because the beer itself has changed, because it doesn't seem like probably it changed all that much. Maybe a little bit. My palate has changed. And I used to crave and love sweeter, rich, decadent beers. I would house pints of this. I shared that crowler with to be fair, I think it was a 32-ounce crowler I got from the brewery. So my dad and I each had like a regular pint, like 16 fluid ounces. But I had no trouble drinking that. I'm not going to have any trouble drinking this, but I'll probably get down the last 2, 3, 4 ounces and be like, I'm kind of done, right? I'm ready to be done. It wasn't like that back 10 to 12 years ago when it came to beer. I like sweet stuff. I could drink a lot of sweet beers. Not as much anymore. So this loses some points for me from what I remember it being. At the same time, I still really enjoy it. 8.5%, nice warming in my chest, nothing on the palate. So still a really good beer. Kudos to Kuhnhenn for still be. Kuhnhenn is one of those breweries that I feel has been underrated since, as far as I can remember. Maybe not underrated for you. If you're in Michigan, you're watching this review, you're probably like, there's no way they're underrated. We know they're old school. We used to love their beer, 10, 15 years ago. I know. But what I'm saying is, outside of Detroit, outside of Michigan, I have mentioned Kuhnhenn to a lot of folks, and a lot of people have never heard about them unless they're like uber beer nerds that love like old ales, so they're 4D lineup, or like big barrel aged beers. Outside of that, you just don't hear much about Kuhnhenn outside of Michigan. For me, I'm lucky enough to go to the brewery multiple times. Love Michigan beer for many years, so I know about them, and I'm happy that they're still producing good stuff. At least they're 2 for 2 of these old school beers. The drip in this, still very close to what I remember them being, even if my opinion has changed a bit over the years. So Kuhnhenn's Creme Brule, I know it is Imperial Crème Brûlée Java Stout. If you look on tap, Beer Advocate, it's called Imperial Crème Brûlée Java Stout. So when it says Creme Brule here, I don't give a shit. In the title of this video, it's going to be Imperial Crème Brûlée Java Stout because that's what it is. Damn it. I don't know if they're rebranding or what, but just call it what it is. I know it's a long name, but god damn it. Anyway, I'm going to give this a low 4.25. I go 4.2. Still a really nice score. Still a really nice beer. Absolutely tasty, something that I thoroughly enjoy, and yeah, I'm glad to say that it's still really, really, really good. Price point availability, I paid $3.99 a can on Halftime Beverage, 8.5%, with a bunch of stuff in it. $3.99 is not a bad price. However, at their brewery, $10.99 a 4-pack, less than $3 a can, all fucking day, every day. Same price as the Drippa. Like if I live close to Kuhnhenn, Drippa would be my fridge quite often, and this would be every once in a while I'd get a 4-pack of it just to have it in the fridge and enjoy it once in a while. So that's a great price point. Availability is Kuhnhenn. I have never seen them out of the state of Michigan until I saw them at Halftime Beverage. I think they may have gotten on to Vor. Can't confirm that because I have not seen them personally, but I think they have. But outside of that, you're not getting Kuhnhenn unless you're going to Michigan, and more specifically in the Detroit area. And but Halftime Beverage, I think by the time you see this review, they probably still have stuff on their website. So if you're curious, give them a go. Like I said, I used to give this a 4.5, 4.75. I give it a 4.2, more because my palate's changed than anything else, but still a really nice beer for the price point that you could pay for it at the brewery, and even the price point I paid for it on Halftime Beverage, I think it's really good. So if you've had this beer before, whether you had it recently like I have, or you had it 10, 15 years ago, what do you think about this one? Has it changed? I think it maybe changed slightly, but not enough for me to really say much about it. I just think this guy's palate has changed quite a bit because pretty much hits on most of the notes. They're just a little bit more subtle and a little bit, I want to use the word dull, but I think that's incorrect. It's just a little bit more subtle and nuanced than it used to be. It used to be like a flavor explosion back in the day. But I have so many crazy pastry stouts, past 5 years, that like this isn't as impressive or like blowing me away. And it is what it is. So I'm going to shut this one down. Be on the lookout for more reviews from Kuhnhenn. I have a bunch of their barrel-aged beers left, and I also have that Lucky Charms lager that I'll probably get to in the next month or so. Anyway, shut it down to the next one. Cheers.